Hey everybody, welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings. I'm Jesse Arnold, and today I'm giving you my initial reaction to WandaVision Episode 4. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to say happy Friday. It's another weekend, and I'm a little behind on my comic haul review for this week, so hopefully I'll get that up later tonight. But for now, I've got my review / reaction to the newest episode of WandaVision, and short of just giving you all the general hoo-ha of me saying it's such a great episode and great acting and all these skills, which it is. I just feel like I say that with every episode. I have no complaints about this episode, other than the fact that it was over so fast. And that's not a negative. It moved, it clipped, and I wanted more. I want more of this. I can't wait to see how this show plays out. And there's not a lot I can say that isn't spoilery about the episode, because it just kind of starts off right with something that is really cool, I think. So I'll be saying this. If you've been enjoying the show so far, you will undoubtedly enjoy this episode. I will say this, it is an episode that gives us a little more context, or not even really an explanation to what's going on, but a little more behind the veil, if you will. And that's where I'll leave that with my spoiler-free portion of the video. So spoilers are starting now. Man, this episode starts off with a bang, or the reverse of a bang. So this is spoilers, so I'm going to spoil. If you don't want spoilers, stop watching. Seriously, I'm going to be telling you things that happen, and they're kind of big moments, not just in the show, but in the MCU in general. So it starts off with, we all know that Geraldine got ejected from Westview's reality last episode, and as I expected, it starts with her, but it starts with her in a place I was not expecting. It starts with her rematerializing after the events, or during the events of Endgame, when they re-snap the Iron Gauntlet and bring people back to reality. So you see the reverse of the dusting from Infinity War, which we didn't get to see happen in Endgame. Just suddenly, all the heroes came out in that on your left moment with Cap, which is one of my favorite movie moments of all time. But this, we get to see it happen. You see her rematerialize, and you hear things running through her brain, and you hear Brie Larson calling her Captain Trouble, we get full confirmation that Geraldine is Monica Rambeau. And she wakes up in a hospital, and we learn some things about, and as we all know as the audience, it's been 5 years since she disappeared. So it's this heartbreaking scene of watching her come back to reality, because this is the only character we've seen so far deal with the events of coming back to reality in the moment it happened. We saw Aunt May's explanation in Far From Home, and some other people sharing their experiences, but we got to see this happen to her in real time, as it were. And we get the full confirmation of SWORD being the agency. If there was any doubt, it is completely eradicated at this point, where we saw the logo a couple times, but now we get full confirmation that Monica has been working for SWORD, and that her mother, Maria, Captain Marvel, Carol's best friend, was the one who helped start and actually created SWORD. After the events of Captain Marvel, it makes total sense that Maria Rambeau would have been the spearhead of that development. So it's really cool. And then you see her getting her paces to come out to Westview and everything. And we learn the time frame is about 3 weeks since everyone came back in Endgame. So it's been 3 weeks since the fight with Thanos and all of that. I'm sure some of the events in Endgame take place within days, maybe even a week or two after the events of the battle. But this seems to be the furthest event out besides Spider-Man Homecoming. So all this stuff with Wanda is going on either during or before Peter's Far From Home trip. Yeah, so I'm just totally spiraling. So you see her get there, and we get reintroduced to FBI agent Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I was really glad to see him come back. He even gets to do his little magic trick with his business card, which was a fun. I love when they work those little things into the character development. And it's cool. It's just cool seeing how this is going on in reality. So everything is happening outside of the WandaVision experience at this point in the episode. And it's a lot of fun. Pretty much the whole episode is outside of it. We get to see Monica go in, how she gets in. So we see the little nods to all the things that were happening in the show that didn't make sense with the helicopter and the beekeeper and the radio. We see that from the outside's perspective, and it's cool. We get to see total confirmation that is Darcy from the Thor movies back, and Kat Dennings is great. It's great to see her back in that role. I really enjoyed that character, and she's really come into it. Like she's actually a doctor now, a scientific. I forget what she said her specialty was, but she is a doctor, so she followed through with the stuff she was doing with Jane and everything, and she's now a science researcher, which is such a cool journey progression from the student who was just taking it for credits and everything. So, and she's smart. She gets to play it smart, which we already saw some of that happening in Thor Dark World. So it's just cool to see a full progression, or at least a big progression of a character. And her working with Jimmy and the sword agents, and the different things. And for some reason, it wasn't until this episode that I put together Jimmy Woo. I don't know if I missed it during Ant-Man and Wasp. That his name was Jimmy. I don't know how I missed that, or if I did, I just forgot. But because Jimmy Woo is such a different personality to my experience in the comics, that it didn't click until today's episode that he's the Jimmy Woo from the comics. But anyway, it's a funny episode. There's some good humor. There's a lot of suspense, and we get to see a little bit more of the interaction between Wanda and Geraldine in the WandaVision in the last 10 minutes or so of the episode. And we get confirmation on a lot of things. We know Wanda is pretty much in charge. She's doing all of this. We don't know why yet, or if there's anyone else involved in manipulating her into doing this, but she's kind of the one doing all of this. And we get to see what was probably one of the most, to me, horrifying scenes in the episode or the season so far, is when in last week's episode when Vision comes in and he's asking where Geraldine went, and Wanda's like, oh, she had to leave. And it's cool because it's all still in the widescreen format, which I didn't notice in the episode last week until someone pointed it out, that as Geraldine gets kicked out, or Monica gets kicked out back into reality, the camera shifts to the widescreen. So it's like, all right, this is real world. So we get to see a brief glimpse of the real world through inside the WandaVision, inside Westview, as Wanda's explaining what happened to Geraldine, and Vision's out of focus in the background, and you realize he's shifted into his android form, or a synthezoid form, after he's come back inside. And she turns around because she's been rattled by the mention of Ultron, and it is, as I thought, he's dead Vision. He is the grayed out blank slate Vision, but he's walking and talking, and he's got the giant hole in his head from where Thanos ripped the stone out. So either somehow someone has been able to reprogram him to function without the stone, or Wanda is completely manipulating him to be alive and functioning just to carry on her whole facade of living a normal life. So it's an interesting twist from the Vision comic from Tom King, where Wanda's creating the illusion of the reality versus Vision trying to fit in. So It's really fun, really exciting. I cannot wait to see where it goes next. But that's about all the time I have for today. So stay tuned for my comic haul update for this week. Coming a couple days late, but it'll be here. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.